you could say that I finally got smart and was being a little bit more mindful about how I'm swatching these things, and that I've learned from multiple years of doing this what not to do. But I will say that my arms are still, actually they're not as stained as they were. A little bit. There's some, so maybe you can see what color I was last working on, but it's okay if you can't tell. You could also guess just based on the fact that we are now going to be swatching all of the blues in my collection. So if you like lots of color swatching, I do have a playlist of all of these because I did it 2 years ago. My collection has changed, so I decided to do it again. Last year, I did all of my more weird shades, so like the shifty shades, the ones that are in between colors. I think I even did like all of my golds and things like that, but my friends on here, DW and K, can tell you that trying to figure out what gold is really hard because gold can be yellow, it can be more bronzy, I don't know, things like that. And I have the same issue with blue because something can seem blue, but then it's more purple. It can also then end up being more green. So we're going to do the best we can. If I miss some colors, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure it will be swatched at some point on my channel in some way. So if you want to see all the blues, then please keep watching. All right, I like to start with the light blues first, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this time I'm going to start on my left side here and then work my way over. Because I have been kind of, I don't know, I've been very scattered. I feel like I have been missing some shades here and there. Like I just realized I probably could have swatched that one shade as a green in my last one, but it's okay because it's one of those in-between shades anyway. All right, so for blue, this shade, I'm not going to count. It is in between. Same with this blue here, or I'm saying blue, but it's more of a dark teal. And it's definitely more blue than it is green, but it's right in the middle, so that doesn't count for me. Like, I counted this one as a green, even though it's almost a dark teal, but it is, I feel like, definitely more in the green family and not as much in the middle as this one is. So we are going to count this is blue, but not that. We're going to count this blue and this blue for sure. And we're going to go ahead and do this one, although this is a shade, just like this one up in the corner, this one can kind of go more blue. This one can almost be a little bit purple, but we're going to go ahead and count it for now. And we're going to be okay that my camera sometimes thinks my eyeshadows are more interesting than my arm, because, I think everyone feels that way. And we do try to put the colors close together on the arm, but sometimes we run out of room, and that's okay too. So far, they're looking very similar to each other, which I haven't had that much of. And what's also interesting is that, 3 of them were from the same palette. But I will say that on the eyes, they are a little bit more different than that. So, we can cut them some slack. Okay, now if I continue on my pastel blue journey, I had not done this shade from Rogue because I said that this is more blue. So let's go ahead and show that. Then we have this one. And I feel like this shade is also more in like teal category, but it's a medium teal. So I'm not going to count that one. Let me get a little bit more of that one. And then from Sydney Grace, I have this single, which is another light blue. And do I have any other light blues? I'm trying to do a look. I'm going to go ahead and try this one from the Nomad Pacific Northwest palette. And it's a little bit green, as everything is in that palette, but let's just see. Okay, so this was from Rogue. This was from Crystallize, definitely blue. All right, come on, camera. We got my arm here. Then we had my Sydney Grace single, which I think this was actually from the Tina the Fancy Face palette that they did. Because they put a lot of those singles, well, the shadows from there as singles in this big set that I got. And then this was the Nomad, which, you can see it's definitely more blue than it is green, but it's got a bit of green to it as well. Now I'm going to start doing the medium blues. So I'm going to count this one over here from the Fairy Tale Fairies because it is just more of a medium, even though it's like in the dark row. They didn't really do a dark blue. And then this palette was done for that. I'm gonna kind of keep looking. just making sure I hit everything. This is definitely more of a periwinkle than it is blue, so I'm skipping it, but I'm going to do this blue from my Prados palette. I'm going to do this blue from my Prados, not from my Prados, from my Juicy Boost, although it does have a bit of green to it. I'm going to do this blue, although this is a little bit almost periwinkle. Oh wow, this is looking really green now. Okay, we're not going to swatch this one because we can see that, right? So wow, doesn't it looks blue here, right? Oh, sorry, now you're focusing on my arm and not the eyeshadows. This looks so blue compared to everything else, but I think it's just because it's in this green palette, so it seems very different, but no, that is not what we have right here. We have, that is looking very green. All right. Now I have to remember again what I swatched. So let's see, in the order we had, oh yes, from the Fairy Tale Fairies. Then we had from my Prados palette. Then we're skipping this one. And then this one was from my Vivid Pigments over there. That's what those are. And you can see it's a little bit purpley, but still blue. I'm going to make my way back through and hit all of the other blue shades that I might have missed. And again, we're only sticking with mattes. So I've got these two from this Vivid Pigments. All right, so those blues here. I want to swatch this, but I have my thoughts. It's going to be more blue. We're going to count that. It's sort of this blue purple, but we're going to go ahead and swatch it for this. And if I continue to make my way, I have this Sydney Grace dark blue here. This is a dark teal. This is a purple. This is a blue, so I can do this one, and I would say this one from the Nomad, and those are going to be my last two to swatch. Okay, so got Vivid Pigments. Again, this is almost like a teal. Then we had from my C'est La Vie palette from the Dots. That's like that light blue, but almost purple. And then this is from Sydney Grace. Oh, I should have started going on the middle part of my arm. All right, we're gonna wrap up with, from Sickly Sweet, this blue here. And then we also had, don't tell me, this one from Nomad. Although, like I said, it's probably gonna be a little bit green. I'm gonna do it down here on the side, so it's kind of next to these other ones to compare. All right, so this was the one from Sickly Sweet, and this is the one from Nomad. And so we can see, some of these are almost like a dark teal, but this is all of my matte blue eyeshadows. And then we're gonna swatch the shimmers. So as we do the shimmers, we've got some interesting options because some, like this one in here is again one of those like weird in-between shades. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And it is kind of blue, but with the others, it might not come off as blue. So let us see. But I did finally take off my watch, so I learned that lesson. Okay, so a lot of these, so this is again from my C'est La Vie palette from the Dots. A lot of my blue shimmers are more shifty. So this is blue, but it's got a lot of pink in it as well. And then I've got like over here, this is the shade Good God, which now look, it's gonna prove me wrong. It's almost purpley blue. It's got like a bunch of things happening with it. So, you know, it just wants to show off all of that shiftiness for you. So maybe it's not blue fully. And then also in here, I have Ice Blank from Shine by SD, which does have blue to it, but it's kind of like that. Yeah, they kind of go together, don't they? They're just very sparkly. Then my Dollhouse palette has this blue. I have, from my Sydney Grace, there's this blue. This one is more teal, so we're not doing that. These, I'm again gonna say, are just more shifty. I'm gonna let them be. You can't see this palette that well, so let me bring it forward. But we have this shade right here. I am swatching right here, but this one and this one are definitely more purple than they are blue. So I'm gonna skip those. I am gonna do this one from Sickly Sweet. So that'll be my next 4. All right, so again, this is from the Dollhouse, and that one's kind of lackluster, to be honest. Then we have from Sydney Grace. Oh, I love that. Then we have that one. See, it is kind of purpley, but then the shimmer is blue. All right, so it just depends on how you're looking at it. And then this was from Sickly Sweet, and that almost looks silver next to the others, but it is blue. Again, we have, these are more shimmery, not shimmery, I'm sorry, shifty than they are, you know, with the blue. This shade as well, I wouldn't really count. I'm gonna try this one from Nomad, and this one as well can be more blue. Actually, I'd say I might skip swatching this one, just because it really is coming off more green now. Probably should have done it with my greens, I did not. But we'll do the other one, which was the Crater Lake shade. I need more. And so this is like a purple blue type of shifting one, so you can see more of the purple that way, but it is also blue. Okay, I think we managed to get all of, oh no, I'm sorry, one more. This blue right here from my Prados. It's kind of sad now. In fact, it's more of a matte. I might need to consider retiring that palette, but right now it is still here. So these are the blues that I have. So all of the mattes and the shimmers, definitely way more mattes than I do shimmers. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this and seeing all of the colors. Like I said, you can go and watch the other ones that are on my channel. And I want to thank you for watching. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!